capacity, my goodness, they see the mother, they see the father's hard work. And that's why they ache for the love of the parent. But then it took them a long time, because at that time, the way that they see us, or they see the parents, is definitely different. And so, when you see your teachers in the Dharma, and this I tell you, I'm talking to you in a very, just in a standard, I'm also a student. And sometimes I see my teachers that I don't see them like I used to see them before. It's because of my mental darkness and my mental disturbances in my mind. But when you see them very kind, it's because I saw quality. And a lot of things too, when we see our teachers only the negative things, it's because that's our projection. And I have a lot of that lately. Because then I said, wow, that is my mental projection. That is so negative. Because it makes the teacher low, But the truth is, and so not only for the teacher, everyone else. So that they say, you look and see your teacher as an ordinary being, like the way you see others. So when you see someone snobbish, and you say, oh, that person is so snob, he thinks like he's so great. That is your mental projection. Because your mind is so obscure, you only see the negative thing. Even though a person is doing wrong, perhaps, as long as nobody's dead, or he is harming or something, but it's all your projection towards that. It is your own creation. Therefore, that is your own illusion. We project that all the time.
I don't understand that. So if I saw somebody hurting somebody else, it's not my projection. It is something that I'm seeing in front of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But have you looked like certain hurting? Yeah, right? Hurting. But you kind of like, look at it, okay, hurting, wondering why he's hurting, right? But that's a very straightforward, that is wisdom, because you see hurting. But when you start to say, oh boy, he's hurting, maybe he's done something very bad. That is in addition to what it is. That is also already a projection of many things you are not really sure of. You see? Yeah, that's the difference between wisdom and then a disillusioned mind. Is when somebody give you a gift, right? And they say, offer to you, and you say, oh, thank you very much, and you say, and then you're already sometimes watching the action, like, wondering where this is coming from. Why is he doing this to me? When you don't see it as it is, and you are already propagating many things, that is disturbances. You see what I'm saying? And we are so trained to do that. You see it. When somebody say, no, I don't like, and you just, okay, I don't like, but then, I wonder why she doesn't like it. Maybe it's my smell, it's my vision. Those are practice of illusions, which actually makes what? Makes you emotion disturbed. You getting it now? Yeah. Now watch it. the way that you think and you see things, and your emotions starts to like, you know. And this is what they call it, anything that is projected with concept. When it's conceptualized, then we are no longer, again, we are creating another seed, endless. Make sense? This is illusion. That's why collectively we are thrown into this samsara, the suffering.
So even if it's words, speech, words that are being said to us, it's still our projection of those.
Well, if it's really bad, right? Well, you ask yourself, "Oh, that's bad." But the thing is it true? I mean, and in your own thinking, is it true? If it's true, then you shut up. You've been quiet. You say, okay, that's true. If it's not true, then why even bother? See, both ways. If it's true, you said you're ugly or you're so beautiful, right? You say, oh. If you know it inside you, for example, the word beautiful, no? Oh, you're beautiful. And you say, wow. Well, in her mental projection, that must be true, so thank you. If it's not true, that's also her mental projection. It is. Okay? Isn't this beautiful? Then, hang on, hold on to that thought, because then that is practicing what? A non-duality. Either way, it works. Does it make sense?
It didn't work for me on Friday.
It did not work for you last Friday. Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? When someone to you lie, and then you say, oh my goodness, it's true, I lied. So then you lower yourself and say, you know what, I'm very sorry. And then when someone say, you lie, but the truth is you did not, and you say, okay, because the truth is you did not. So why bother?
You want to put it right?
Yes, absolutely. This is actually very difficult to practice, but first is you understand it. Now, the reason why you react is what? Because of your conceptualization. Well, I think I did not lie, but the truth is you did. But then, because you don't want to, yeah, this is hard.
Yeah, it is quite hard. I have another example, which sometimes kind of gets to me, and I don't really know how to so please help me. So sometimes you get people that come and they ask you a lot of questions, and some of it very private, and you just don't want to. It makes you feel very uncomfortable.
Well, once you are uncomfortable, you are already suffering. You know why? Yeah. Why? Is because you projected again, you projected already something beyond what it is. Let them just ask questions, so what? And you just, if you are untrue, you have nothing to worry about. If it's untrue, you suffer again.
So if we don't want to answer, it's just
If
not a
it's
true
too
or no
private,
true.
it's too private, if you don't want to share it.
Yeah.
And so what?
Bullshit.
And you just say, if something private, and you just say, you know what? Is this really benefiting you to ask this question? Because if it's benefiting you, then we will talk about it. But what is your motivation in asking this? That's it. Okay? But be nice, because again, you don't know why he's asking that. Because every time, if one steps forward, there is a reason why. When one steps backward, there is a reason why. Yeah? There is always a reason why we action and do things. But you want to know first before you're going to answer. But either is, if it benefits this person to ask that question, please just answer it. And if you think it would not benefit him to answer him, then don't. And just say, I think it's more beneficial to not answer that. First is you save the person, not you first. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be tough. I know this is a little bit higher practice. Before you say things, you think first what the other person's what's gonna cause this person. If it's gonna make the person angry and unhappy, you do your best to think of that first rather than what's you. You know, for example, when you know that your car will be broken in, you know, what do? You lock it, right? You know, you lock it, like that, it's locked. But if you left some bills being seen by someone in the car, do you think even the car is locked, they will not get into there? So what do? You hide it, right? Or you take that money and you not show anything. But it's not that. Why did you hide your money? Is it because you don't want people to steal it from you? No. You hide the money because you don't want this person to steal and commit a non-virtuous action. That's how you do it. It's not because, oh, I'm going to cover this because, I cover this because I don't want you making mistakes. Beautiful. That is actually a very higher, Why do you actually very, very calm? It's not because you want to be cool. You want to be calm so that others will not chit-chat on you. And then they commit negative actions. That's why some bhikkhunis, again, and nuns, okay, they don't want to mingle with a lot of people. Why? It's not because they are so snobbish. It's because you are going to create negative actions if they are just hanging around with you and you go blah, 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 which is a lot of idle talk. And remember, when you're committing higher negative actions against people who have higher vows, your mistakes are more bad. Okay, so I'm just saying that, okay, as an example. So do it as well. Because sometimes we do things first for us. I know, okay, that's good. All right, that's good. But have you ever think of the other? Look at what had cost on the other. If you are more concerned of the other, then that is a practice of compassion. You know what I mean? It's heavy duty thinking. Does it make sense? Yes. Alright. So now we all know, right? About samsara. So you're going to have to ask yourself then, what am I aiming for? The Buddha's teaching comprises of this 84,000 teaching is basically to ask you, please aim for enlightenment. Because this is the only way for you to suffer no more. That's why we call him the Buddha of compassion. It's because he thinks that way. That is his goal, because we have the Buddha nature within. So, I leave you with that. So next time, does anyone ever ask, so then what's next? And this is the reason why we have the path. There is a reason why there is a path. But which path are you going to take? For complete enlightenment? Or just wishing to be good or kind? Which is, either way, it still is very good. Huh?
It's a very difficult choice to make. Because you really don't know whether when you come back you can help anybody or not.
Well, right
And
now,
whether you can achieve it or not.
yes. But if you wish for it, it's the
No,
same thing. I had that from the very beginning when I had my, when I wished to, when I was in college, I thought I will never be able to buy a house. Because I was just in college. I don't have a real job. I have a full-time job while in school, but I never thought I will ever have to come and sign to buy a property. This is just mundane, ordinary example. But when I learned there is a way to do it, and I said, why not? And then when it was offered to me, gave me a little bit of instruction, a little bit of guidance, and reassuring that it is gonna happen, I said, well, instead of me renting, it's really silly to rent, This is very logical. When it becomes logical and it's doable because of instruction and guidance, would you still want to rent for the rest of your life? No! It has become silly already to rent because there is a way. And when I learned about that and I said, can you hook me in? Let's get started. And then the realtor said, these are the things you need, blah, 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 blah. And let's keep up your credit a little bit, which is your accumulation of merit. And he said, okay, I'll follow. And guess what? 6 months later, I had my first house.
Sorry, I have to say this. You see, 6 months later, you got your house. These are the steps you do. But in Dharma and this practice, and I always feel the same.
I was like that at the very beginning, is because, first is you need to want it.
But do I know that I get this? I get
The
this
same
way.
thing.
Do I know it? How do I know that I get it?
You need to then learn, and as you open more documents of the Dharma,
Is it a feeling of peace of mind that
well, it's just certainty that, what? Would I be rather cycling in existence? There is no promise for me. How do I even know whether I'm going to go back to lower realm? Yeah. Well, I know I will not because I don't want to. So then therefore, if I don't want to, I'm going to have to do anything that would not allow me to go there. And I do it in really, really serious approach.
Then I'm going to be cheeky to that. I'm going to ask, how certain are you, definite are you, that you're not going? can you guarantee yourself that
I
you're not?
do, because you know it. But because of the qualities that the Buddha is saying, because I follow what is, and once you know, for example, how do you know you're not stealing anymore?
Because I'm not stealing.
Exactly. It's clear like that.
So if I told myself,
You just
I'm not
multiply
lying.
it in your entire, not only that.
So if I say I'm not going to lie anymore, so I'm convicted to that not lying.
Exactly. But then then you said, well, sometimes I lie a little bit.
No, I don't lie anymore.
Yeah, then sometimes I do. Well, then you're not sure. Then I'm not sure. Well, then do something. And then until you say, I no longer lie. To the point that, you know what? If you no longer tell people about your practice, there is no really showing and proving, is because you already carry it. Then that is certainty. Okay. You know, when a white belt and yellow belt and green belt in the karate business, they are the ones that actually talk and say, I do this, I do that, oh, I do this, But then when they become a master, what happens? They don't even show their belt. Okay, it's because they are certain of their craft. And something happens, they will. This is as equal as practitioners. But they have to work hard. Now, working hard is nothing. You know how why do we think it's work hard? Why do you think practice the Dharma is very difficult?
Actually, it's not.
Huh?
It's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's not difficult.
You see? Because everyone has different
Perception, yeah.
different experience and perception.
It is now.
But why? How come we still suffer? Huh? Yes. People, when they become, like they understand the thing and they really practice it, it becomes just, it's workable.
It is. I mean, we see more things. See more things in a better perspective.
Yeah. And that's what we need to do. It's not only better, correct perspective. Okay? Correct. And this is if you see things in a wrong view or correct view, they are totally different. Okay? Yeah. So yes, this is already this is when the Buddha's teaching becomes wow. Teachings of the Buddha, which is the Dharma, the more you really understand, it becomes like it's so profoundly precious. It's because it does pacify. Because it's the only logical reasoning. The Buddha's teaching is so logical. And the rest is still, it's beyond compare. And so the more you understand the teaching and who and why it's created is because the love and compassion of the beings that shared it because they have done so, such as Manjushri and Samantabhadra and all Avalokiteshvara and all the Buddhas that have gone through. And when you relate to that, the more then you take refuge because of their love and compassion. You just say, my little heart, how can I be bestowed with such blessing? And you make you more humble because you see this. And this is what the Dharma will make you. You see? It does not make you proud at the end. When the Dharma makes you proud and arrogant, you are not practicing the Dharma. But when someone relates to the Dharma with low, like to the point that your head go to the bottom of the floor, is because you have been therefore transformed by that manifestation of the humbleness and the kindness of someone who have given us the teaching. And I tell you, it's beyond words. And that's why you take refuge, because of the way it changed your mind. You know, when you're so thankful for someone, have you ever experienced that? That even the word thank you is not enough? What do? You even cry. You even want to, like, a hug that would last forever, but it's not even enough. Yeah? And that is taking refuge to the Buddha. Of all my teachers who have unceasingly stopped to explain a very simple, idiotic thing, and it's actually, for them, very little, but for me, it's like, wow. Yeah. So then, yeah, that is the result. But rejoice, because your ability to sit here and come here and really wants to know, this is rare. This does not happen to any ordinary being. So I'm very, very happy that you even want to know something. You want to make sure what on earth are you doing with your practice, with your mind. This does not even a context of Buddhism. This is basically, it relates to anyone who are called humans. Okay? So it has nothing to do with Buddhism. When it comes to really truth, it has nothing to do with Buddhism. It is basically the mind. Okay? So, this will dictate then how we will proceed on our next journey. If the best, I would say the best approach is to learn how to dismantle ourselves, to really get to know the nature of our mind, and to look at breaking down and dissolving our ego. Because the ego is self. Okay? Yeah. And so then therefore, if we are going to go forward with this, is then we need to have an altruistic intention. Our motivation, the only way to dismantle ourselves is how to generate the feeling of love and compassion and kindness to others. This is going to be this is the Mahayana. Okay? Is anybody, if you said, I just want to be good, and I would say, for what? For yourself? Okay, you're still welcome to come to this, to the class, of course. Because first is we want to make sure